Greetings all who roam this world, I'm Anthony and welcome back to Notes from the Game Room. This is a series where I go through the history, importance, and just give my personal thoughts on different types of video game music. Some of you have probably seen the first episode where I covered the 2D Legend of Zelda series. I know I said I would be going into the 3D Legend of Zelda, but I'm going to hold that off until later on, so we have some other games that have been covered before we just go all Zelda. So as you probably saw from the title, we're going to be covering some of the mainstream Donkey Kong games. As a way to see how these songs have evolved over time, we're also going to be looking at the remixes that the Super Smash Bros. Series has given these songs. And with that, we're ready to start. Let's go! Wait. I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, tend to forget about where Donkey Kong came from. The original arcade classic, Donkey Kong. It's an interesting title when you think about it because Donkey Kong is not even a playable character, he's the bad guy. The title screen theme is so iconic and just like Zelda, has become a staple for all Donkey Kong games to follow. It's simple, fun, and it's just a great way to welcome a player to the arcade game. Now we put a quarter in the cabinet and get the game start theme. The game opens with a gorilla climbing the ladder to the top of a construction site, accompanied by the haunting and chilling song, a variation on the theme from Dragnet, an American radio, television, and motion picture police drama. Yukio Kaneoka composed a simple soundtrack to serve as background music for the levels and story events, the most recognizable one being 25M. The song only consists of 5 notes, but it does a great job at keeping you in the game and having a tempo that matches the pace at which Jumpman moves. But once Jumpman gets that hammer, we hear a very familiar song. I think a lot of us have heard this song, but in a different context. And when you hear this song, you just run for your life. In fear. In terror. Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. The Donkey Kong game that really started it all. The characters, their personalities, and there's a lot of musical themes that actually come from this game. But before we get into Donkey Kong Country, we have to talk about one thing. Sound compression. When composing audio for the Super Nintendo, composers only have 64 kilobytes of space to work with. That's equal to 0.000061 gigabytes, or about 0.35 seconds of sound on a blank CD. Do people still use these? Is this even a relevant comparison? Hey Jared, do you know what a CD is?
The fuck's a CD?
Now you're probably asking yourself,
why do I care about this?
Because when composers are writing music for a game, they don't come out at a size that can fit on the SNES hardware. This means composers had to downgrade or compress the quality of their creations so they could fit within the limitations of the SNES. Here's a visual example to help give you an idea of this. This video you're watching right now might be either at 4K or 1080p. That's usually the average high quality you can get from a YouTube video. Now let's take this video and compress it into 720, 480, 360, 240, 144. In order to fit all the audio onto an SNES cartridge, they basically had to take the audio and put it from 1080 to 144. You still with me? Why I am telling you this is because there are people out there who have restored songs from the SNES to their original quality. As we go through the music of the SNES Donkey Kong games, I will be presenting you with the compressed SNES audio and the original mixed and mastered HD quality audio. This is where we start to get the personalities of all the Kong family members. Cranky, living in the past with the old simple theme on the 25M bars, then good old Donkey Kong comes swinging in on his boombox with the new updated theme. David Wise, the composer of Donkey Kong Country, created most of the soundtrack with the assumption that his music would be replaced with compositions by Koji Kondo. The company Rare asked Wise to record 3 jungle demo tunes that were then merged together to become the DK Island Swing, the first level's track. Prior to composing, Wise was shown the graphics and given an opportunity to play the levels that his music would appear in. This helped give him a better sense of how his music would match the game. With the graphical advancements that the Donkey Kong Country series featured, Wise wanted to create music that pushed the limits of the SNES. He wanted to create a soundtrack that would stand out from any other game. And oh boy, did he do it. Aquatic Ambiance, the underwater level theme. The composition took 5 weeks to produce, using a Korg wave station, and Wise has called it his favorite track in the game. Wise had to stitch together and program the wave samples one by one. There's no wonder that he called this his biggest technological accomplishment in regards to the audio. Personally, this is one of my all-time favorite songs in video games.
Now, every good game has a memorable villain that challenges the player and has a really good theme. No. What the hell? No, I mean the croc. Why are my memories of King K. Rool so much more horrifying?
K. Rool's theme was heavily influenced by the work of Iron Maiden. David Wise was a huge fan of them, so it's no surprise that he took some inspiration. The Iron Maiden sound can be heard mostly in the drums and bass, but is best represented in the restored version. enter Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. As with its predecessor, the music was produced for the SNES's SPC700 chip so that the game could sound similar to the Korg Wavestation synthesizer that was also used in the original Donkey Kong Country. The music from Diddy's Kong Quest just has a way to transcend the player. Two of the most popular songs from this game do it the best. And now we've made it to the Sticker Bush Symphony. Similar to Zelda 2's temple theme, I didn't know about this song until Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Subspace Emissary is such an iconic part of the Smash Bros. Franchise. Everyone has heard this song and has some sort of connection to it because of this game. Sticker Bush Symphony presents a soothing melody, but uses the pizzicato from the string section and the running 30-second notes in the hi-hat to help keep the tempo moving. This allows the song to be a great backing track for the gameplay of the subspace. It encourages us to keep moving and to explore the environment, not just in Smash, but even the remixed version used in Tropical Freeze. The music from Donkey Kong Country Returns wasn't composed by David Wise, like the originals, but it was highly inspired by his work. Kenji Yamamoto, one of the main composers for the game, wrote songs to fit the vibe of specific levels, starting with the title theme. And Island Swing, now called Jungle Hijinks. These songs are great updated renditions of their original songs. They represent the return of the franchise in the modern era. However, it couldn't all be good. One song that they just didn't do justice. In my ears, they completely ruined it. The beautiful Aquatic Ambiance. Now ruined, and Aquatic Ambiance returns. Aquatic Ambience Returns sounds like it's trying way too hard to live up to the original. The beginning has too much going on at once, and main themes from the original feel rushed, or like they're not as important as they once were. Then about halfway through, the song changes style and loses its original feeling. Aquatic Ambience Returns would be good on its own, but when it has such big shoes to fill, it falls flat. The Donkey Kong franchise features atmospheric music that mixes natural environmental sounds with fleshed out melodies and supportive accompaniments. These soundtracks take inspiration from swing, disco, rock, and dance music to help create environments for the jungle, caverns, oceans, and the snow mountains. I thought about covering music from the Donkey Konga series, since there are 3 of them, but most of the music from it is just covers of pop songs. And with Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, it didn't really have any music that was that noteworthy, but attempted to synchronize the gameplay with the music, like when Donkey Kong jumps. And that's all the music from the Donkey Kong series. Where's that music coming from?
He shoots ya, it's gonna hurt. He's bigger, faster, and stronger too. He's the first member of the